Uh, Good afternoon. As Good afternoon. Can I hear you? Yes, that's what it is, the spirit. Uh, when the chair started, he was telling that maybe by the time we finish the session, there will still be, there would only be few people left. Maybe the panelists, the number of panelists will be more. Anyway, from the morning, what we have been, I will start from where Sanjeev left. We were talking about change. We were talking about economic growth. That is what Amitabh ji was talking about. And I take you back to a different world where when the more we talk about GDP, the less or the lower becomes our quality of life. And that's the irony, and that is what the world is facing. What am I trying to tell you is a measure which was created by Simon Kuznets in 1930, which he never thought himself that will become one of the bases of comparing two nations or many nations to say whether X is a developed nation or a poor nation or developing nation. In his wildest dream, he would not have thought that this is going to be the criteria of comparing nations. And today, we always focus on GDP. And the world is moving into a different direction. You know, in 1991, with the help of, with the initiative of Mahmood-ul Haq from Pakistan, we started this, UN started this indicator called Human Development Index, where they said that we need to focus more on education and health, which is the key. And what is happening in the world, we are saying we should have double-digit growth. But the data shows that the countries which are having, where there is more development, or the developed nations, they are not the happiest nations. Human well-being there is on the downside. I give you example of a PhD work done by, done in the University of Leicester in UK by Eden White, who developed a world database, world map of happiness, taking something around 178 countries. And there, we did not see any developed nation except Canada, which had a name in top 10 countries. The message is that we need to go back. And that is where I think people were talking about urbanization. I think we need to control this migration and how it is possible. Look back and see what Abdul Kalam used to say. We need to go back to villages. We were talking about rural economies. We need to develop better infrastructure. We need to develop better social infrastructure rather than physical infrastructure. Because what I personally feel is that we can build big buildings, but if social infrastructure is poor, if human infrastructure is poor, you can't really see a good future. And that is a big challenge for all of us. So, our public policy has to take a different shape. In public policy, you know, Jim Collins was writing on business, big organizations when he talked about many great organizations in Built to Last, or when we look at good to great companies. But then there was a book by him, How the Mighty Fall. And in that book, he talks about all the failed organizations. What is it that makes big organizations fail? And you know what he says? The first criteria. That is the sense of arrogance. You become big, you have high GDP, but if you have a sense of arrogance, that will kill you. So, if you are looking at long-term sustainability, minded, I think we need to go back. And we need to look back what C.K. Prahlad was talking about. Bottom of the pyramid, fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. You need to look back and see what kind of product and services are meant for the masses, not for just the classes. 70% of our country still lives in the villages. So why can't we focus on that? And I think with the kind of initiatives that government is taking and government is talking about, if we spread it across, I think we have a very bright future. And I'm sure that with the minds, young minds who are here, people can really believe that, yes, I think that is going to happen. Friedman talked about world is flat, where he was talking about that there are more organizations coming in India and all kind of organizations are floating. And then came Pankaj Ghemawat, who said, no, world is not getting flat. It is getting consolidated. So mind it, I think if we are more talking about globalization, Forbes wrote 1 year back in November 2016 about deglobalization. And we are moving towards that, deglobalization. When people are breaking out of Brexit, taking a back seat, I think we need to rethink on our government policy, and our focus on public policy should be more on health and education. Yes, we are proud of education system. 70 years of last system has produced people like us, people like great educationists, or in industry. You have people in all places, and we are all product of this education system. But I think we have a long way to go. Government has to infuse some more energy into